Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Blastic, and for my persuasive speech, I chose to talk about temperance. One of the fun, interesting facts that I found out about this while I was researching temperance is that you can find this virtue highly regarded in a lot of religions and highly talked about in a lot of famous philosophers. In fact, Aristotle and Plato both talked about temperance, and Plato placed temperance as one of the four core values in a perfect society. So, why did I choose temperance? Temperance is something that I used to have a really bad problem with growing up as a kid. Uh, I had really bad impulse control, and I call it kind of like I have a switch that goes off where I basically am just all of a sudden 99 miles an hour when something happens, and I react. My body reacts without thinking, and I used to say things before thinking a lot. And I realized how big of a problem this was and how other people saw me when I acted this way. And I didn't like it every time that it happened. I initially I hated myself following the action after I came back to realizing what was going on. So I started to work on that, and I started basically working on that by completely shutting down when certain things like that would happen. I would just kind of just turn myself off. That way I didn't do anything that I would regret. And then from there, I started working on applying just thinking before I act. So I believe that temperance can better everybody's life in one way or another, and that it can be done with lots of work and practice. Something that I'm still working on to this day with other things that involve self restraint. In this presentation, I'll go over what temperance is, what it entails, what kind of things other people can value or get from it, and ways that you can improve upon it. So, what does temperance entail? Well, from the EGCC online library, I learned that according to Garcia Vasquez, who wrote an article and it was published by the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, that temperance is um, a way of restraining your action, thought, emotion, and they did a study on different people and how they showed these kinds of virtues and talked about uh, just basically children and how it affects development and stuff like that. So, what is the difference between temperance and self restraint? Well, they're very closely the same thing. Uh, self restraint actually requires an extra effort, and temperance actually becomes a thing that becomes a knee jerk reaction into the way that you want to handle things. So eventually, like I talked about how I had impulse control that was very negative, I can teach myself a behavior that is just naturally very positive, and it becomes second nature to where I don't even think about it. Um, so, going into what kind of things temperance can do for uh, different people, well, it helps people with addiction, which helps with health, your daily life of health. It gives you peace, uh, reduces stress. Also, relationships improve when you practice not lashing out and practice the correct course of action or the natural correct course of action or what you feel would be the right way to react to something. There's many different researchers that I read that talk about what I just what I just said, that it is basically something that you practice on, and it helps with all the things that I've stated. Some of these things that you can do to practice on and work towards is apparently complimenting people. forgiving people. Practicing forgiveness is a big thing. Uh, Apparently, that just helps you keep from negative thoughts. Uh, Same goes with compliments when they're meaningful. Uh, Another thing that practicing temperance on is just humility is another big one. Uh, so not showboating. When you're proud of something, it's okay to be proud of yourself, but also be aware of people's reactions around you and practice humility in those situations. Uh, Phrases, instead of counting to 10, use a specific phrase, like be better or don't let this happen. One big thing that I read about and has worked for me is just going out and rephrasing everything in your mind before you actually let it happen. It's worked out really good for me. I've definitely handled situations where I felt more in control or just naturally ready for whatever happens. That way, my reaction has already been rehearsed. So, to summarize these main points, we've talked about what temperance entails, how what kind of things can make people, I guess, value temperance, or what kind of people can use it. I think everybody can use it if you think about it. We all have faults. We're all human. And then we've talked about ways to improve upon temperance. I would just ask you to ask yourself, what do you struggle with when it comes to moderation, or what are certain conflicts that you have? Do you think revengeful thoughts? Do you get angry? Do you have any kind of health addictions? Do you have bad habits that you wish that you could work on? This virtue is something that can help you accomplish that goal. Thank you guys very, very much. And I look forward to seeing your guys' videos and responding to them. Hopefully, this was very informal. Thank you.